Hello there, Commonwealth Ram here, together with Zeltik. Throughout the history of our channels, we have only talked about a single new playable Link, the blue one. Anyhow, across these games, we have reached the following conclusion. It's time to let this Link live his life in peace with Zelda and let a new Link shine on the Nintendo Switch too. So let's get into it after you leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell.
If there's one thing I'd like to see from the next Link, it's him being more expressive. Outside of fantastic performances in pre-rendered cutscenes, like in Breath of the Wild's Memories and Age of Calamity, the hero of the Wild left much to be desired in the way of expressiveness. This was one of the reasons I love the Wind Waker so much. Toon Link is just an incredibly entertaining avatar. His facial animations, of course first introduced during the final Nintendo Space World in 2001, are simply legendary. And to this day, the Zelda series hasn't topped this incarnation of Link when it comes to showing his emotions. Whether he's sleepy, bored, shocked, annoyed, focused, pissed, or over the moon. Simply put, despite the cartoony art style, this is the Link that feels the most like a real person. The next Link will hopefully show a much wider emotional range that isn't just reserved for cutscenes or selfie poses. They did a great job with animations like the muscle flex or stubbing his toe on a chest in Breath of the Wild. Little things that show off new sides to Link's character, and it's something I'd love to see them build on in the next game. As for his design, we could see him take a number of different forms. Unused concept artwork for Breath of the Wild portrays him as a mature, macho warrior, albeit one with a soft heart. While I love the idea of a bearded, gruff, older Link, I think it's most likely that Link will remain a young man, who may eventually reach that mature age, but begin as an adolescent around the same age as most recent 3D Links. The reason being is just protagonists this age are the most popular and best-selling, especially in Japan, where the norm is to have main characters around high school age, like the trope of the anime protagonist on the path to adulthood.
This is simply unavoidable if you want 20 to 30 million sellers. Simply put, he needs to be old enough to be legal, but too young to be taken. With the lively and expressive 17 to 18-year-old Link in place, but let's move over to what else should be customizable with this Link, namely his hair. And while we're at it, there's no way we can go back to the limited weapons and apparel of the Zelda of old. The variety of Link's portable wardrobe is here to stay. Does this mean the death of the traditional green tunic? Not necessarily, as he could gain greater story significance and thus importance in the next game, a matter we'll get back to.
One possibility is that Link might still be a Hylian, but begin his journey as a hero in a different land to Hyrule. A land which could influence and shape who this hero is, giving him a different identity to those who came before him. This could build on the concept of the Link from a century ago in Breath of the Wild, with a Link from another kingdom. Of course, this is just speculation, but it would be in line with the Zelda team's goal of challenging established conventions. The options are limitless, as everything in this scenario could be new. A new world with new armor, clothing, weapons, ingredients, enemies, and more. An entirely different, but at the same time familiar, open-air Zelda experience, with a brand new Link in a brave new world, where every place, every tiny lore detail is entirely unknown, as was the case in Majora's Mask. Except, unlike Termina, we could see Link as a local to a strange new world, rather than a temporary visitor, making Link a stranger to us, but not to this world, a unique twist for the Zelda series. Still, the most likely scenario remains that the next Link will fit the same mold as those who came before him. He'll be male, with medium long hair, be slightly shorter than Princess Zelda, and hail from Hyrule, albeit in a different time period to one we've seen before. With this in mind, it'd be more crucial than ever to differentiate this next Link from the hero of the wild. One way to do this would be to change his background, to have him come from an urban environment rather than the traditional rural one, like the Minish Cap's Link, who lived right outside the walls of Hyrule Town, or the hero of the skies, who lived among his friends on Skyloft. It goes without saying that our experience of Link differs greatly based on his origin story, whether that's as a false Kokiri, an islander, a farmer, a student, or an accomplished knight. In Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, it's theorized that Link was from Hateno Village, but other than that, his roots aren't really explored, and he remained with a somewhat neutral personality throughout the games, with his blue champion's tunic as urban as it gets, while his blade is completely rural in this era, lost in the wilderness, in the heart of the Korok forest.
The Master Sword has been in every 3D Zelda set in Hyrule, but the blue champion tunic is at risk of being retired and replaced by something else. Could it be the green tunic making a comeback? After all, in the only up to this point console Zelda game set outside Hyrule, the child hero of time wore a characteristic green. It is a possibility, though the twist this time could be that we don't start with the green, instead we earn it much later in the main quest. And by that I don't mean before you leave the starting area, but rather much later, where it could gain much greater purpose, similarly to how the Master Sword has worked. Here I want to return back to Skyward Sword, which in truth is the quest of how the Master Sword was forged. Perhaps the next Zelda can give a deeper meaning to the heroic tunic, one that only becomes fully a part of Link after he lives up to the heroic prophecy. By making it story-based and actually canon, unlike Breath's Shrine completion reward, the true tunic of the hero can become greater and maybe even close to the level of the Master Sword. Something even more closely associated with the hero than being that year's uniform of the Knight Academy. Speaking of the Knight Academy, a more charismatic Link can be achieved without a drawn-out intro. All that is required is for Link and the game's opening area to be like the Great Plateau or Great Sky Island. It could be a snowy mountain area where we have never started, or simply a house we wake up in and leave to get the first true capital reveal in the series. A massive first impression, and then the open world will also have plenty of reasons to return back to where we started, as it is the main settlement in the game, in a way like Majora's Mask did, though that one had a little forest opening before entering Clocktown. If Link has a family again, it could be an even more personal experience than it was on Wind Waker's Outset Island. A starting location with character, as Link had a sister and grandmother that he deeply cared about, and both of them deeply cared about Link. With presents, green tunic and soup. Those warm family moments have been missing, since in Breath of the Wild they were only referenced in the memories when Link was demonstrating his skills and slightly teased in concept art. Having a family, and perhaps even friends that Link already knows, could make for backtracking possibilities to learn more as we explore his hobbies, activities, and maybe even take part in cultural festivals. In other words, building a character that enjoys and experiences more than just fighting and food. If you have a more relation-focused Link with family and real feelings, then there's no better build-up. But an interesting scenario could be the following. Link and Zelda having their first encounter, not in Hyrule, but rather the birth country of this Link, in a new, unknown to us foreign land. The starting point of a new saga for the franchise, which in the next game could move to Hyrule and seal the romantic deal between the princess and the hero, in a way mirroring what was the case between Prince Sidon and the foreign Princess Yona in Tears of the Kingdom, only with the female being native to Hyrule and male raised in a different land, so a role swap. Now then, a fresh and different Link and Zelda requires an equally fresh and new art style. Our big Wind Waker template throughout this video was naturally cartoony and cel-shaded, though with this style already done in the past and playable on Nintendo Switch 2 no less, it would be interesting to see something new, since we stand at a crossroad with Link after Tears of the Kingdom, either more cartoony or more realistic. On one end, we have the style that has been there teasing us since 2011. The Zelda HD experience, darker and more mature, while on the other, something closer to the Wind Waker. No matter what the Zelda team are going for, or anything in between to stand out from The Witcher 4 and The Elder Scrolls 6, it will be a new beginning for this franchise, Link, us Zelda tubers, and every Zelda fan. Still, there's a lot to learn from the era which is reaching its conclusion in 2026. And that's exactly what Zeltik is covering with me in his part of this two-part collaboration, focusing on the links of past, present, and future. So be sure to share your thoughts in the comments, and leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell if you haven't already. Last but not least, a big thanks to all of you for watching, and to all patreon.com/commonrealm patrons. Special shoutouts go to raw producer Jonathan and heroes Cheryl, Garrett Hoy, Holly Wolf, and Kintaro. You rock, and I'll see you in the Zeltik parts of this collaboration by clicking the thumbnail.